Welcome back, Sparky Interest Podcast. And today I'm on a Zoom. I've got Alan Collins from West Cork Electrical and Simplified Sparky Marketing. You probably see him pop up on your Instagram. If you haven't, Alan runs I honestly reckon like your Instagram page and I guess the tips you give for people is so good. And it's like some awesome free, I guess, content on marketing and stuff for Sparky. So we're going to get into that. We'll obviously get into your electrical side as well. And yeah, welcome on, mate. How you going?
Good 40. Yeah, no, thanks so much for having me on. I've been following your stuff with a good while, and I know there's a whole nest and a circle of people that are together in your area and just communicate on Instagram and stuff. So happy to be on the podcast and happy to be part of that, and looking forward to it.
Oh, mate, thanks for taking the time. Like we chat a little bit on like some of the stuff you put out it's not all tailored to us in the sense of the type of work we do, but some of the stuff's like that I haven't thought of is so good. Like the marketing thing is, I feel like tradies in general probably suck at the marketing side. I feel like you've obviously found a way to dial that in. Like it's something that we definitely struggled with when looking into doing it. And I guess a lot of people pay people to do it for them and they take it out of their hands. So do you say like the stuff you do is, I guess you give people tips on how to do that sort of stuff themselves, eh?
Yeah, it's excellent because I was there as well, and you were most likely there. You get your electrical license, and then you're like, okay, cool, what do I do? And then you listen to your friends and family and people that are employed, and they tell you to, work for builders or real estate strata, go down these avenues of what they presume you're going to make money with, and nobody has no clue what work to get or work to do. And then not only that is they're not charging correctly for the work, but we once we get our license, we don't know how to market. What we do is we copy everybody else. We go to their Instagrams, their Facebook, whatever, websites, and it's a case of, do I just copy what this electrician's doing because they seem to be busy? But what
Mm.
they're doing may not be the correct marketing to target their ideal clients. So what I do, what my shtick is to get electricians very clear on their ideal clients, their messaging and all of that that's going to attract their ideal type of work, and then run a profitable business after that. So it's vital that Sparkies get dialed into what they actually want to do and the most profitable work, because there's no point in being business if you're not going to make money.
Exactly. This not worth the stress.
Oh,
What
totally.
so if we'll bounce back to like obviously what you're doing now, but if like I was just saying before, like it ties in well that we're doing this because you're obviously not born in Australia, if anyone can tell by the accent, the Irish accent. So how long have you been here for? And then what was your transition like from like moving overseas as an electrician? We saying you just finished your time, or
Yeah.
you?
So I started my apprenticeship in 2005. So as I was saying to you, I have 20 years at it this year, and I just finished my apprenticeship in and around 2010. So I came out to Australia in April 2010 for a year, and stepped outside the airport and was like, "It's not raining. This place isn't too bad." And gave it get
Living illegally ever since.
yeah. Shh. Um, but no, yeah. So basically, me and my mate flew over. So none of my close mates from home came with me. It was a guy that went through my TAFE, the TAFE equivalent in Ireland is called FOSS, but it's now another name. It's Solace or something. But he, I reached out to him. I knew he'd be kind of keen to come with me, so he jumped in a plane with me. We both landed over here. We were promised a job. Like one guy, that from my local town said, I know a guy over there, give him a call once you land. I've called him. He said, there's jobs, no worries. So me and my friend headed over, packed our bags, landed, headed over and all that, and then jumped out, rang the guy after like a day once we settled. And he's like, nah, no, I've got no job. So we're like at the other side of the world with no fucking clue what to do. So what do you do? But we just headed to the pub and had a few beers and got chatting to these really good guys for about 2 hours. And we're like, what do you actually do? And they were like, we're electricians. And they were like, oh, does your boss have work? And then he happened to have work, but it turned out that guy was absolutely screwing down, like particularly backpackers. We were working for like $22 an hour ABN. I won't name the company, but we were working for
Where did you land? Where we are? in
I
Sydney.
was straight to Bondi.
Yeah, as you do.
So, so landed in Sydney, then went to Bondi for a few months, then kind of moved around a bit from there. But yeah, we got started with that company, and then just kind of just job hopped. And then my mate parted, he went back to Ireland, and I ended up working for a company which I'm still good mates with the owner in Sydney at the moment. And my very first day with them, there was an issue with the brake lights on the van, and I had tinkered a lot with cars at home. Like cars were my shtick, like retro cars, that I played around with. And we went to the job. He was stressing out and freaking out that he had to leave the job, take the van to get serviced and all of that. So the brake lights wouldn't go off. And I goes, "Did you check the brake pedal, the little switch on the brake pedal?" And he was like, "No, what the fuck are you talking about?" So I was like, "That's how the lights stick, is like they come on when you press the pedal, it pushes a button." So he was like, "No." I was like, "You've WD-40, went to the back, or he went to the back, I went to the pedal, like spray WD-40, freed it up." And then the light went off, lo and behold, and he was ecstatic. And that evening, I got a call from the office saying, "Would you like sponsorship?" It was my very first day.
And
They were like,
that's all it took.
"Let's tie this guy down." So yeah, that was, and then I spent 4 years with them, did a stint in the mines in Sino in Western Australia. And then from there, I would always plotted, once I left that company, I was plotting to start my own gig anyway. So I went to the mines for 3 months, came back, was with a labor hour company for a little bit, and then started my own gig in 2016. So that's when I started my company.
Cool. That's awesome. So what sort of stuff were you doing in Ireland? Like what sort of work were you doing like when you were finishing like over there compared to here? What sort of were you in this, was he residential over there or commercial or a bit of
It was predominantly residential, so like new houses. And the funny thing is new houses there are so different to new houses here. It's the same principles, but it's done differently. And to be honest, if I was to go and attempt to wire a house in Ireland now, I would be absolutely clueless and just rusty.
Yeah. As like what do you reckon? I know obviously from I watch a lot of the UK guys on YouTube and like the stuff they do and like I what do you reckon the main did you notice like a difference in the work ethic for one? Like I feel like obviously UK everyone knows like the grafters like hard workers, working class, get shit done. Like did you notice a big difference coming over to here in that sense of things in the like I guess the workforce side of it more so because we've had an Irish guy work for us before and he was a fucking ripped in that like a proper workhorse and I think everyone's always said that like the Irish they work hard and play hard as well but also work hard.
You want to know my theory on like hardworking Irish? Is and English as well. It depends where you're from. So for me, I've had this epiphany and theory that, in the small towns where you grow up, and everybody knows everybody. And if you're known as the useless guy in the town, you're known as the useless guy. So everybody wants to be known as like a good worker. They show up, they get shit done.
Yeah.
And I think when you grow up in a built up city area, particularly Sydney, I don't even know some of my neighbors around here. Nobody knows that many people. So people can be lazy, they can just rock up, they can switch jobs, and they won't be known. But I think when you come from a small town or whatever, it's bred into you of like you don't want to be that useless guy in the town. So it's kind of a work ethic comes through with that as well. I'm after kind of seeing that with a lot of people from particularly smaller towns and smaller areas, that they don't want the reputation of being like the lazy guy or whatever. But I see that a lot here of even just working jobs you come across of just like Sparky's like slewing the cable, like trying getting to the other end of the house or whatever. It's just like the Wild West in some houses. But no, I've met some cracking Aussies with like very hard work ethic. But it's funny. That was my theory of like, why does everybody come across and they're just like hard working? But then again, there are absolutely useless guys as well come across from Ireland, so, and
I
England.
feel like I feel like that's the thing here is like if you it's I feel like people is like it's easy to do good in business and in life if you work hard. Like if you work hard, you can't not go well. And that's like I'm a firm believer in that. And I feel like there's so many people that just want to cruise, they want to coast, and they'll use an excuse of like, I don't know, oh, you got to live or you got to do this and that. Like, I love working hard. I love hard work. I think it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, because obviously I'm English as well. I was used as that. It's like it's a bred into you over there. Like, I watch my dad. He still works 12-hour days now in an office. Like, he's like, he's a work like full time. That's what he loves to do. Gets up still at 5 in the morning, gets a train in the city, works in an office all day, and then comes home. And he's done that since, obviously, since I was a little kid. So I guess I've always seen that, and I've like, that's what I look up to. But at the same time, I understand the whole principle of like, you need to be living your life as well. But like, I think there's a lot of people, especially in the area we're in, like, it seems like quite a cruisy, oh no, I just want to surf today. Oh, I just want to do this. I want to do that. I just have never understood that sort of that work ethic from people.
I think,
And like,
yeah,
yeah.
I think the same as my dad. My dad's he's turning 80 this year, and he still farms. Like, he's still a farmer. Like, he will get up, he will go out about his day, do his bits and pieces. Not to the level that he used to be at, but he's like, it's almost like a hobby and an interest that it's bred into him now. If that's all he knows, and he just loves it, and it's good for them as well when they get to that age, just to be active and just doing things. So it's just, but the likes of that, as well as like when I grew up, my dad was always 365 days a year. He was out on the farm and stuff like that, and I'm actually grateful that I never took to the farming because it's not for me. But I could have been a farmer, but I ended up over here at electrical. But it's, yeah, it's what you're saying about like working to live and live to work, as well as I think there's particularly people that have their own businesses. There's a switch in us that we're entrepreneurial, and it's very hard to turn off, and it's very hard to like sit down and relax. I think there's something in us all, and what I've seen as well, particularly speaking to so many Sparkies, is ADHD is rampant in the trades, I think, and
Mm.
just other little conditions that it's just like just full on hog on focusing on doing work and stuff like that. And it's crazy, but I'm the same. Like, I enjoy I love what I do. Like, I love particularly the marketing side of things now. I absolutely love it. And it's just, I don't know, it occupies your mind, but at the same time, I will still take my holidays every year, and I'll enjoy that. And I'm actually heading back to Ireland in 3 weeks for about 5 weeks again. So I try to do that once a year, but it's having that balance of you work hard, but then I know the lights at the end of my tunnel are like going back to Europe and stuff like that once a year. So, but it's good.
Yeah, that's good. So it's like, skip into your electrical business now, and like you just said, you're going away for 5 weeks. Is it just you? Is it just you that does it?
Yeah, so that's what I stress to the guys and the members is like, it's I obsess with leanness and being systematic. So when I go away, I've got right now as well, I've got a virtual assistant that handles my admin side. I've got a virtual assistant that handles the phones. So when I do go away, I've got systems in place. It's like if that then this situation. And when I'm not here, I've got a guy on the ground here that basically, if they can't wait for me, it gets delegated out and it gets referred to my good friend Matthew. So he then does the work. And we've just got a bit of an arrangement and an agreement, but it just works so well. And my clients are purely mums, dads, Bettys, and all of that. And I don't rely on builders, strata, real estate. So I don't have anybody that's like breathing down my neck that I'm not here, that you need to get that done.
Yeah.
Everything can wait. It just worked out really well. But the reason I don't have staff, I tried it and it's not for me. And at the back of my mind, I always wanted to do what I'm doing now, like the marketing side of things. So I knew that it's going to take years to build up a business that can run without me. Like, I'm a realist as well of, we've all seen the get off the tools in 12 months, and you and I know that that might be a bit of a porky, but I'm a realist.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I was like, right, I either focus on this or focus on that. And I just managed to build like a lean ass machine that it allows me to have time and freedom, just because I delegate out the monotonous things to the admin, and then I can focus on the work, and then I can take my holidays as well.
I agree. I think it's interesting because I guess when you start a business, I guess there's such a pressure to grow,
Yeah.
and from external sources, right? So people would always expect to be like, oh, when are you going to hire and get to 10 staff? When are you going to do this? And I feel like all the marketing around coaching from people is like, we got this guy from one car to 10 cars in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like there's like all this like hype around that shit. And it's like, what? And like I speak like from someone that's got employees, but going back to like thinking about when it was just a couple of us on the tools, I actually did like I really enjoyed it, and I actually enjoyed being an electrician, and I actually enjoy doing the work. And then now I sit in an office all day, which like I enjoy because I still love what I do, but I do miss being able to do the work. And like now I'm starting to get myself on the like we've started the YouTube channel. I want to try and get on the tools a bit more and start doing. So I'm trying to book myself like 1 or 2 days a week on site, which is great that I can do it now. It's not like it might not be a sustainable thing to do because obviously it's taking me away from other things, but I think it is good to keep yourself sharp in those things. But I think like what I was getting at is, are you someone that would promote that you can run a successful business and just stay as a one-man band? Because that's what people always hit me up about as well. Is like, I guess some people are like, oh, I want to grow and put people on so I can make more money and do this and do that. But I think like there is a market to be a successful sole trader as well. And that's what you've done. So
Yeah, exactly. And to your point as well of missing the tools, I've got a prime example of both scenarios of having a very successful business and being on the tools. So one of my good mates, Carlos, runs a business here in the inner west as well, and he's tried 8, 6, 7, 8 staff, and it's just absolute headache after headache. And now he's leaned down to about, I think it's him and 3 guys or him and 4 guys, and he is absolutely killing it. And he's on the tools quite a bit, and he has his repeat work, and he does a lot of council work and stuff like that as well. And but he fucking loves the tools. He doesn't want to get away from the tools. And I think that's the thing that people miss. And obviously they're not told when it's like, get off the tools, get off the tools. When people hear get off the tools, they think, I'm going on holidays when I get off the tools. But it's like, you don't. Your holiday camp is the office.
where you are, this is where you stay.
Get a palm tree for the background. But it's and that's the shitty thing is like, some people actually dig themselves into it, not realizing like, shit, now I've transitioned from electrician to a full-time admin, and I'm just sitting in an office all day. And I hate, the reason you probably got on the tools is because you hated admin and you hated schoolwork and stuff like that, that now you're stuck in an office doing that. And with me, I reckon,
There you go.
there you go, you're on
A holiday you can get.
it. So to everybody watching, that's how you get your holiday in.
That's it.
But yeah, so with I think, to be honest, my perfect, in my head, a perfect business, and I think that's my shtick, is like 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 4 guys. I think you can have a killer business because you can still kind of be dabbling on the tools, and then you can be doing a little bit of admin as well. And with the help of maybe virtual assistants, or like me, you've got a virtual person taking your phone calls. All those little things take weight off you, that you can actually do some work on the tools and run a successful business. But as you know, 40, it's like once you start adding 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, like everything just, overheads increase, headaches increase, people happen to be sick every second day. All these little things like no shows. Like I tried a few staff and it absolutely broke my heart. And look, it could have been different if I got really good guys. It could have been a lot different story, but I just had a few guys and it just wasn't for me because I was stressing about their day, not to mind what I had to do in front of me as well.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like it's it's probably one of the hardest things is obviously finding good people is hard, and can fully make or break your business. The bigger you get, we got to get to a point where I guess we'd step back from the tools a lot and we weren't getting to site as much, and then you're kind of leaving the guys to their own devices, and that's when you start having issues and problems. And it's just like, it's not even bad things, it's the little things and then you go to something and go, why have you done that? And like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, I just wouldn't have done it like that. And then it's the little things that drive you crazy. We're so lucky now the way we've got it set up, where we have like our project managers, which have such a high eye for detail, the same as us, and they run everything the same as me and Jared, my business partner. So there's 4 of us now, so we can get to everything and we can keep on track of everything and keep the quality of work up. And the guys we've got are awesome. So we don't really have those issues anymore. But like there was a time when we were like, oh, why is that done like that? Oh, and then you start worrying you're going to lose a builder or a client because someone's done something wrong, and it's so hard to keep track of it. Whereas like if you sit around that 3 staff mark, you're probably still on the tools. You can get around and you can get around things. But I know the stress there's like a real close tipping point. And I had a local guy reach out to me the other day. He was like, "Oh, just like I need to sort stuff out because I'm on the tools full time. I've got like admin, but like I have to like set all the guys up and I need to do this." And I guess it comes down to having the right processes in place so that you can stay on top of staff, but it takes so much time to settle that up as well. And most of the time, if you're a tradie starting out, you grow quickly and you don't know how to manage people. Or the only time you might have managed people is working for someone else. But when you're trying to then incorporate running a job, profitability, quality control, all those things, and it adds up. It gets so hectic to try and actually manage people as well. It's
I think
crazy.
I think the key what you said is systems as well, and that's something that pisses me off as well, is like people being like, you got to systemize your business, and then they fling these fucking really confusing org charts, and there's this is going that way, and if that, then this is going this way. But like, systems are super easy, and I think what people forget when they're systemizing their business is the person you're delegating that system out to. Let's say it's an electrician, and you're like, I want my switchboards done this way. You don't have to say, release the clip at the bottom of the breaker, tuck the breaker in the board, clip the breaker back in, put the left cable, put the red into the L, put the black into the N. Hopefully I got that right. That it's like, you have to remember that a Sparky is going to be doing the work. It's the little 1%ers of the things that they would mess up that they need to know. But having systems in place, and a system can literally be like a 20, 30-second video of how to do something. And it can just live on somewhere that's shareable. It can even, as a tip, what I tell my guys as well is, let's say, for instance, you've got a system and you screen record something that you need to know. You can drop that link on the likes of Loom or a software like that. You can drop that link into your job card in ServiceMate, for example. A lot of my members are using ServiceMate. And I'm a big fan of ServiceMate. But what you can do is just drop that link into the job card, or you can create a reoccurring job. That link is on every single job that you create. So you can do little things like that. But systems get blown out of the water of like, and it overwhelms the shit out of a lot of electricians. And it did with me too. But I actually did training with systems a few years ago. And it just opened my eyes to how simple, and it's with AI as well, it's gotten even more simple to do. So it's a thing that annoys me, that's another thing that puts the fear of God into electricians, is systemizing. But it can be so simple. It's just about doing. And a thing with systems as well is you need to focus on what you're doing right now, not what you think you might be doing in the future. As an example of this, like many years ago, I was like, systemize. And what I did, I'll never forget it, is I started creating systems for my future staff member that I didn't have. So I was like, okay, what does he need to know? How to change an element in a hot water tank. So I was like, okay, drain the water, do this, shut off the valve. I don't think I've changed a hot water element since.
Yeah.
And like, that's the key takeaway is focus on what you're doing right now to systemize if you are doing that. And as I said, a 30-second video can do that, but the people get carried away and they start systemizing stuff that they will never ever use. And that's what takes your time up of the lack of direction with that.
Yeah. I feel like for people that are looking to like hire staff and grow, it's just like being like remembering that it's a bit of a bumpy road to get to the right place, and then find the right, I guess, the right amount of people that there's definitely tipping points of where it's profitable, where it's not, and then you find that along the way. Like it's like 1 to 4, 5 staff is like really good, and then you get from like 5 to 10, and it's like a shit show. It's like, and like there's not that many people that have that dialed down between that 5 and 10. I think like it's a really hard place to sort of find your feet because you got a lot of work coming in, you got a lot of people to look after, and it's like the money wise, the overheads will go up, so it's hard to find that profitability stage there. Then it's like, well, the next jump's going up to like 20, which is like which is so hard. So I think but like at that 4, 5 mark, you can still add the processes in and start that. I guess like you're saying, like systems for people, then like start it when you do have the less staff, and then and you help build it as they grow, and as you add another person, it's like bringing them in on the same thing. But like with your, I guess, with what you do with the Simplified Sparky Marketing, like you obviously got a podcast
Yep.
is that weekly?
Yeah, weekly. I put like, they're very short, sweet, straight to the point. So they're usually about 10 minutes. But yeah, once a week I'll pop them out, usually on a Friday. So
Yeah.
one went out yesterday. And yeah, just try to just pump a bit of knowledge and information out there that it's easy for guys to digest, particularly if you're in the truck or you're on the way to a job or something. You can literally listen to the entire podcast on that trip.
I think so. Like I'm trying to think. One of the favorite ones I listened to was the handwritten note. I really like that.
Yeah, right about my dog.
Yeah, they
That it was crazy, yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, the story behind it was I was actually I was back in Ireland at the time, and my dog had this nasty gash on her head. It started off as a little nick, and then she just kept ripping it. But I was like, so backstory was from Halloween last year until Christmas. I was actually back in Ireland because my mum felt very ill, but she's recovered now, so thank God for that. But I was back. I was like basically caring more for my dog than my mum at the time, and just my dog got more and more ill. And just when I left, they made the call to put her down. And then I received a picture from my mum of the postcard that the vet had made out. So what they did was is very thoughtful, very nice gesture. But they basically had her little paw print on the card, and just it was like a condolences card because she got cremated. But it was just such a nice little gesture of like, with like addressed to us, and it was like it mentioned her name Molly and stuff like that on it as well. But it was such a nice little gesture that we got that sent out as well. But yeah, I was just very, and that's what I said in the podcast is this is a really nice gesture, but this is just one-on-one marketing of just like we're like I'm talking to you in Australia about this on a
Yeah.
podcast right now, and like that just like tore off like wildfire to everybody. So when someone's dog is sick or a pet or whatever animal, they're going to be heading to that vet's because they're just a very thoughtful vet, and it's just about that, about little tweaks that you can do in your business that make you memorable.
Yeah, because I think, and then there was another one you did where you're talking about is it like a printed handwritten note that like was it a plumber maybe or something that
Yes, that's rampant. Actually,
yeah, like
that's rampant.
I hadn't visualized it, but I was like, I'd be cool to see what it was. So like,
So it's I've got I think the funny thing is what I'm hearing through the grapevine is they're starting to get old. The way people are marketing now in Sydney or particularly bigger mobs are they are sending out basically like it looks like a handwritten note, and it would just say like, hey, just to let you know, my name is James. I'm a local plumber in the area. I specialize in block drains and leaking taps or something like that. If you ever need a plumber in your area, happy to help. Hold on to this magnet. Speak to you soon, James. And it's really like, it's not written like kind regards or whatever. It's like very just a mate to a mate kind of thing.
yeah.
And they just attach their business card. There's just a plain white back, no, just like address to the homeowner or something like that, and that's it. And that's been very, very effective for marketing. But I think people have caught on to it, and the market's now getting saturated with handwritten notes that everybody's clicked onto it. But the note itself is printed, obviously, but it looks like it's just handwritten.
What do you reckon is the best? Say an electrician listening to this who's let's do two ideas, right? So say me, an electrician that is chasing more so like every type of work, builders, bit of service stuff, solar, with 20 staff. What is the best way to market? And then what's the best way to market for a one-man band who's looking to do mum and dad stuff like that? What's the best place to start? What do I do?
So we'll start with the one man because the one man will then have the bigger company should have this structure
Yeah.
put into place. But for the one man, the starting out today is the notorious Google My Business, obviously 101, is get your Google business profile, what it's called now. I don't know why they changed the name. Let's get that set up. It's free. Absolutely treat that page like a Facebook page or an Instagram page and upload regular posts, regular images, get reviews on the regular. Very easy to get reviews. The hardest thing about getting a review is asking. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. So get your reviews, get them pumped up. Once you get so many reviews, you'll start ranking higher in your area. And particularly just depending where you are, you'll dominate that local area once you start getting reviews. And it's essentially, it's a free listing. It's going to you're going to put your time into it, but that is number one for guys starting out is the Google Business Profile. What I'm seeing a lot lately, 40, is chatting to a lot of guys that are actually I wouldn't, they are established. They've been in business 2 or 3 years and they do not yet have a website. They do not, and that's disgraceful in 2025.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I'm actually going to do a thing. I reckon I can get a website and a brand up and running for about $300. And it's just such a simple thing to do. And you have to have a website. If you're, and they're the exact same people I see complaining that it's quiet or I haven't got work. Stop whinging about it. Go get a website for overnight. I'll create a website in about an hour for you. If you
Yeah,
want.
when we started the stickers, I was like, oh, the day of, like, we need a website. Called up our mate who does videography, because I know that his partner does websites, and they bang one together for us that night, and then bang, we had a website for it. It's like straight away. I'm like, that's the first thing you do.
It's not even like, I don't condone doing a DIY website, but if you're really hard up, get something out there. Like, I would say pay a professional, get it done correctly. I've gone through about 6 websites until I was happy with the one that I've got now. And I learned the hard way with a lot of mistakes along the way, but I would definitely say pay a professional. But just be careful as well, because I actually had a call with a guy yesterday and he was on the verge of using WordPress for his website, which is nothing wrong with WordPress, but the way to go is Webflow. And um, the thing with Webflow is it's set and forget, and you just basically build a website. It's got the hosting and everything built in. Whereas what the web developers were kind of getting at was, oh, now we've got you built on WordPress, but there's going to be a $200, $300 fee every month. So that $1,000 website ends up a $5-6 grand website every year.
Yeah.
So that's the gag. So I warn with that as well. But from there, get your website done. Obviously, be professional with your uniforms, your van riding as well. That's such an underrated thing, as well as vehicle wrapping, especially for newbies or even anybody in business. But with established guys, you can almost get away with minimal branding depending on the work that you do. If you mainly do mums and dads and stuff, service work, you need a really good van wrap that stands out and it says exactly what you do on the van. But yeah, they'd be the top 3 things would be your wrap, your website, and your Google Business Profile. And obviously just mingle with your network. Like, put your name out there with mates, with friends, with family. I don't condone working for family, but when you're starting out, you need to push your name as much as possible to get that workflow coming in. And one thing I would advise not to do is go on the lead generation websites. I'm not going to name the websites. One's got pages on the end of it. But it's there's several of them out there that you can just basically go on, sign up. You'll get sent leads every day, and apparently it's turned into fastest finger. So I was speaking to a mate that's paying for this, and a job will pop up for like a switchboard upgrade, or it might be like put in a few downlights, and people are waiting for the lead to come in, and they pounce on it, pay for the lead, and they're like either going out to that job or they're quoting it remotely or whatever, and it's turned into dog eat dog of like who can get in there cheapest and get it done. So I don't condone that. I wouldn't advise doing that. Find your own work. And if we're to move to the established business that's got a lot of trucks and you've got income in the bank coming in to start with as well, and I see this a bit as well with even established business, is like getting a marketing plan in place of what exact work you're doing is making you the most money. Who's your ideal client, or who's the gatekeeper? Say if you want to get to a builder, or you want to get to a commercial client or something, who's the gatekeeper that you've got to get to or get through to get that extra work? And you need to know, that person very well. You need to know how to get around them to get that kind of work. If you want to get mums and dads and stuff, there's the treacherous road of ads. So if you've exhausted all the organic methods, it's running Google ads and Facebook ads as well. But what I stress to people is running Google ads and Facebook ads is a brilliant way of getting in work. However, it's a very expensive game depending where you are. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you start doing Google ads or Facebook ads, particularly let's stick with Google ads. If you're running Google ads, what a lot of people don't hear, or what they don't realize is, let's say for instance, it costs $50 a click, which it can be in Sydney. It can be even more depending on what keywords you want, like level 2 electrician, Sydney, or electrician, Sydney. That could literally be 70, 80, $90. You mightn't get a call for 10 clicks. Let's just say it's $100 a click. You mightn't get a call for 10 clicks. So on the 10th click, you finally get a call. that lead is now costing you $1,000 before any overheads of sending the guys out there and stuff like that. And that's what people don't realize. And I got dragged into that in the early doors of business, that my web guy was like, at the time, was like, hey, you got to do ads, you'll kill it, you'll kill it. And he got me spending a couple of grand on ads, but I was competing with guys, that bigger boys out there. And it was just, I just hemorrhaged cash. And the worst thing about Google Ad Leads is I was getting calls of like, can you tell me if this smoke alarm will interconnect with this brand? And it, you know, everyone,
Just the top, he's just the top phone call.
this cost me fucking $100. But yeah, so I think I think even the established companies don't really have their marketing plan dialed in, of like, they don't like, the number one thing across both starting out and your established business is change the messaging on your website. Your messaging is that's the single most thing I learned in marketing, is the messaging in your website is the most powerful tool that you have. Because if they land in your website and they can tell what you do in the first 1 second to 4 seconds, when they land on your website, it says, we do this, we're this, we do this, here's how we help, call us here. So many people are like, welcome to XYZ Electrical. We've been established with my grandfather in 1972. And it's like, you're not speaking to the client's problem, that they're there for a reason. They've got an issue, they've got lights they want, they've got tripping. It needs to say exactly what you do in the first few seconds for them to say, yes, that's exactly what I need, call or send an inquiry. And that's what a lot of people miss. And I stress that web developers make really good looking websites, but they're not marketers. They don't have the messaging dialed in on the website. It looks pretty, but it's not going to convert unless you have those little things in place.
I think a website's important. Like, I've spoken to a few people about it. Like, I'm definitely not a fan of the generic, like, stock images of American Sparkies on a
Sure.
yeah, like the cables aren't like, it's like a stock image photo on there. And like, I think like it, like, I guess if you just bang the website together to get that sort of work, like, maybe it's not going to matter to people. But I think like, depending on what you're targeting, like if you're looking to get builders and things like that, like you need a website that's built around that, with projects and what your capabilities and stuff, but which would then entail be different to someone that's going to be doing your more service-based work. And like you said, like having it, as soon as someone gets on there, then they know what you do straight away. Like if you're a solar company, you want your main page to be solar because you want to get a solar sale, not we do everything. And you're trying to get, like, if you're trying to dial in on that market, you want that to be on your home screen sort of thing. Hey.
Yeah, because that's exactly it. And that kills me as well. As like, I'm a stickler for being niche, or like at least being known as the guy for that industry. So, and look, there's nothing wrong with doing solar, aircon, electrical, and all of that if you're well established. But if you really do want to do aircon work, or you're a solar guy, lean in on it, be the solar guy, and have everything tailored on that website to be associated with solar and stuff like that as well. I spoke, like, for example, with this, I spoke to a guy in Canberra, and he's got two businesses, and he has got one page, one website that's purely EV chargers. And it's a little white lie, but I told him, I was speaking to him, and I said, on his messaging on like, it doesn't matter. He's got another website that does electrical, but on his the EV charger website, which is, he's ranking really well. I told him to put up the top of it, all we do is EV chargers. That's why we're specialists at it. And if I'm somebody that's looking to get an EV charger installed and I don't know anything else about electrical, but I've just bought a BYD or a Tesla or whatever, and I'm like, I need a charger installed, I stumbled across this website and I see this guy has got on his website that all we do is EV chargers. That's why we're experts at it in Canberra. It just really speaks to that person about exactly what they want to do. But yeah, being all things to everyone, you're nothing to no one. You just get watered down unless you're established in a particular area. And that's why I fully lean in on residential service and maintenance. And that is all I do in my business. And when you do niche and stuff like that, you don't have to reject other work, and other work will come in. So when that work does come in, by all means, grab it as well. But it's just a case of like being known for one thing that you can really lean in on being a specialist on, but it still doesn't rule out just not doing all types of other electrical work as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen something that's popped up the last couple of days. Actually, it's been interesting. Like, obviously, people trying to get work. I saw two posts come up on on Facebook, and I'm guessing they're people that have kind of just started their business, and you can't be, I guess, angry at people for it because they don't know any better. But It was two separate electricians that had posted on like local community pages with like what they do, but then putting their hourly rate at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it was like $80 per hour.
Oh,
Like, and I'm just like, you just want to like grab him and shake him and be like, mate, like, I was actually like thinking like, oh, it's not my place. I'm not going to do it. But like, it's like, you're actually exactly what's wrong with the industry, but you probably just don't know any better. And they're probably thinking, oh, I'm charging $80 now. I'm absolutely killing it. And they just started and then wait till they get a tax bill or something. And then they'll realize that the hard way. But I'm like, you doing that and marketing yourself as that, problem with that is like the actual people in the community don't know better. So they're like, oh, well, this guy can charge $80 an hour. Why are these guys charging 130, 140? They're ripping me off. When really, like, this guy's just completely undercooking it. And then he makes everyone else seem like they're overcharging, whereas he's undercharging. And so, like, a word of advice is for anyone, don't put your hourly rate on an ad, especially on a Facebook page for you to try and get work, because that's just like you literally undercutting the whole industry to get work. Like that, you don't need to put that on there. It's pretty crazy.
yeah, and to that as well, it absolutely kills me that like when people exit TAFE, there should definitely be a module in that should be getting your business dialed in. Like it's crazy that you can just get your license, get an ABN, and absolutely run amok with business and not have like the age old like you can be a fantastic electrician, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a good businessman, and that's very it's very evident in the industry as well that like people like that those guys on Facebook just posting, but Facebook and the likes Facebook Gumtree and stuff is just the bottom of the barrel. Like you'll just literally see people cutting the life out of it. But to your point of just not knowing any better as well as like Sparky's starts, I think I mentioned this in the podcast, but Sparky's starts their business and they're like, what do I need? It's like, okay, I'm going to need a Milwaukee set. I'm going to need my tools. I'm going to need ladders. I'm going to need a van. Definitely going to look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy put a deposit on a 2026 Toyota Hiace. That's exactly what I need. It's like, how about you get a 2015 Hiace that's clean, it runs, it's perfect, and you put that extra money into getting educated on your business because that minimal investment you'll make on being educated in your business will return tenfold, whereas the van's just going to depreciate over a few years. It's just it's killer that like it kills me that like people and they don't know any better. You don't know until you're too far in the shit and you realize you're not any good at business. That it's like, damn, I wish I got help. So
I
yeah,
think like there should be like it's pretty crazy that you can just go and start your own business. It's like you should have to sit a course or something before being able to get your ABN and start your own business, especially because it's fucking like it can be dangerous as well because it's the exact thing of like someone cutting, like, I guess, underquoting something, not knowing what they're doing, and then cutting corners to try and recoup money or something like that. And then they're going to start doing things dangerously. And like, I think there needs, like, some of the cowboy shit you see from people running their own business is wild. And like, also people ripping people off as well. Like, I feel like if there was like some sort of course you had to do to, I think it might be different in Queensland. You might actually have to do
I
something.
think Queensland and Perth, Western Australia is they're pretty onto it, even in regards to like certificates and stuff as well. I think Western Australia are pretty stringent that you have to do like a contractor's course, which is awesome. That's like, I was just like, I wish that was in New South Wales.
Or you had to do like a certain amount of time out of your apprenticeship or something, because like you could literally get your apprenticeship signed off, get your ticket, and then the next day be so and so electrical and could be out in the van charging $80 an hour.
With your $80 an hour thing as well, I actually, again, kind of rewinding back to messaging and the like people that post on Facebook and how shit is Facebook that like just remember this, electricians listening, is like when you run Facebook ads, it generally goes to followers that you have or people like your followers, which for 99% of electricians, 50% of their following are Sparkies because they're like, oh, they're curious and they're nosy and they're just like checking in. Like, it's like, oh, you didn't clip that cable over there. So that's why if you're an electrician and you keep seeing like electricians ads like my feed, it's because of the following. So when you're looking at running Facebook ads and stuff, you have to get very targeted with it. But I seen a guy's ad pop up recently, and again, a newbie to business, no fault of his own, but his ad was just a B-roll of him, you know, putting ladders in the van. He was walking through people's houses. He was putting up a light or whatever. But his messaging behind it was like, if you're sick of being ripped off and you're looking for somebody that's going to charge you a fair price, rah, rah, rah. But that message, once it falls in my ears, is like, that is going to attract the shittest, cheapest, tightest clients, because they're the people that are price conscious. And this is what people miss out on, is their messaging. If you mention free, cheapest, affordable, what affordable is subjective. Someone might want to buy a Lamborghini, someone might want to buy a Suzuki. It's affordable is very subjective to each person, but I think it's those little things of like, what you say is going to attract that type of client.
Oh, that's what marketing you put out there is gonna attract different people. And I think like marketing is the exact thing, targeting towards being the cheapest. Like it's just it's ludicrous. Like, and I think like I've seen so many ads of that, and it's like fair. What is it? It's like people say fair and reasonable pricing, fair and reasonable pricing, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have to market yourself in that way. You shouldn't have to say that, because it's almost saying everyone else is going to rip you off. I'm not. I'm going to be cheaper than everyone. Whereas like I don't think it's the right way to market your business in being fair and reasonable pricing. It just also means it sounds like someone can just haggle you down and be like, oh, actually that doesn't sound fair. Can you take this off? And if you've quoted something, obviously it happens, but you should be able to back yourself in of what your pricing is worth. And that's I guess the other thing, like with that, like getting help on learning how to quote. And I think that's, if you have no idea, that's where coaching can come in handy. But obviously finding the right people to help you. But we do extensive like work on pricing, and then like asking for feedback as well. And I guess that's the only way you find out, is by putting yourself out there, pricing, then cost analyzing every job to know that you are on the right track. And if you're starting to like be making a shitload of money on a job, you're probably charging too much. And then it's like, do you find that fair price for people that way? Not going out to rip people off and like, oh, if you're overcharging, you need to find that out and do it that sense. What's your thoughts on I guess people finding help if they don't know? Because obviously do you have an opinion on the coaching industry?
Look, one guy
Two questions there.
one guy springs to mind straight away. If you want to know your numbers, and you know him as well, that's Croy. Croy's an absolute gun when it comes. It's like just like a crazy scientist when it comes to numbers. That's really his thing. But in regards to the coaching and stuff, is like, look, there's good coaches out there and there's bad coaches out there, and I think it just depends. It depends on your gut. If you speak to these people and they're a good fit for you, absolutely go with them. But if you're on that call and you're like, this sounds too good to be true, it most likely is too good to be true. Like, when I chat to people, I literally say to them, if we're not a good fit, I'll point you in the right direction. And it's like, I had to turn a guy away last week, and I'm not going to take everybody in, because it ruins it for the rest of the guys that are in there. And I just want to build an awesome community of people that are like-minded and driven as well, that want to get results. But the whole coaching thing it's getting out of hand. I mean, every time you open up your Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you just get bombarded with coaches hitting you. And I actually hate the word coach. It's a dirty word. It's like salesman. So that's why like I've swapped it out to mentor or mentorship, because I absolutely hate the word coach, because it has that, it's got that tarnished brand with it now.
It's it is like, it's a pretty good way of putting it. It's getting out of hand, and like I'm sure anyone that's an electrician, like you're targeted on your Instagram for it to hit your feed and do it. And there's obviously some guys out there that are pumping so much money into their marketing budget so that they are fucking everywhere. But yeah, I guess finding the right fit if you are going to go down that route. But also like, yeah, I feel like my whole thing with that was, if you're getting taught, I guess, a sales technique from a coaching company, they've done it on you. Does that make sense? Like, you're also
100%.
getting it put onto you. So then like, you're like, oh, hang on, I'm giving these people money. Like, they're teaching you a sales tactic, but they're also using it on you. And that was something that had never like sat right with me in that world. Like, if someone's putting a sales tactic onto you to then teach you how to do a sales tactic, it's like, that's just happened to me now. Because so like, I feel like that was always like a weird thing that I'd sort of had against it. I think people that do it but don't push it in that way are the people that are like the right sort of fit as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think you can smell it. Like you can smell a sale, but like I suppose it depends on your how long you've been around the block. And like if you're new to business, I remember like one of the first course I signed up for like years ago. It's probably well nearly 10 years ago now, but like I remember the guy ran a webinar and I got like I missed the webinar, but it had the replay, and then I watched the replay and I got an email saying like there's only one spot left, and I was like fuck, and I was just like fucking want to check out what's can I get that one spot? I was like, there's only one fucking spot. And I was like, there's not one. Then like, sure as shit, like 10 other guys came in thinking, but I was like, it's so, when you don't know, you don't know. But now it's funny. My wife bought a car the other day and like, all I was doing was like, I just laid low in the background, like arms crossed, just observing the sales tactics. Like on
I am. It's
the car saleswoman was just like, oh, you wouldn't believe how many of these we sell. And I was like, bullshit. But yeah, and just like just watching all the observations of like, would you like a water? How's your seat? Kind of thing like that. Just I was like, I know what you're doing. But yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
Did it work?
Oh yeah, she put a deposit down.
There you go. So there you go. They're on
I
to
just be like, don't do it. But yeah, so it's a strange industry, but like, I mean, I seen a guy's ad. I seen a guy's ad yesterday, and yeah, basically said built his business to $1 million a month, and I was like, that's a pretty crazy amount. But what people are missing is like, yeah, $1 million a month is sweet, but like, what were the overheads and the spend on that month? Like,
Yes.
it's not about the turnover, it's about the leftover. And like, that's what I'm very firm on as well. Is like, we don't want to concentrate on what you turn over. We want to know what's going to be left in your bank account at the end of the day.
That's like one of the big marketing tactics from coaches, I guess, seems to be like revenue and like building revenue and like marketing that. And it's like, oh, our turnover's gone from 50K months to 100K months. And I actually told a Craig about it. I thought it was funny. I was like, well,
My ad spend was 50K that month.
all you got to do is get a job with a 50K switchboard. And then you go, oh, this month I've got like, you know what I mean? Like that might be an in and out.
It's
Like
not real. It's not real numbers.
you can't market revenue. It seems crazy, but it's like for people that don't know, it sounds really good. And like I put myself back when we started, and I didn't understand any of that either because I'd never ran a business. I didn't know what margin was or anything like or net profit. I didn't even understand that. I just started a business and started doing it. And if there was no money, I didn't know why. And like for people to like target people like that, like it sounds good. Like if you don't know what you're talking about and someone's like, oh, we can get you from 50K months to 100K months, you're like, fuck, that's all. Is that 50K in your pocket? Like that's what you think. You're like, oh, an extra
Yeah.
50K in my pocket. But like that, like you can't measure revenue as success because like I can look back over years and be like, oh, we turned over an extra X amount. Doesn't mean your profit was. It just means we probably bought more and sold more materials, but it doesn't mean we actually made more money.
Yeah,
So it's a
because
pretty ludicrous thing to market to people.
you can literally do a 50K month and have 10 grand profit, or you can do a 20K month and have 10 grand profit. It's the exact same thing. And all that matters with the two of them is the profit. So you could turn over crazy numbers, but at the end of the day, if you've bought more trucks, and with more turnover comes more cost. So like you got to get more staff, you got to get more vans. Those vans have got to get insured, they've got to get kitted out, you've got to get ad spend going to get more leads in, you've got to it's endless what you spend money on, and that's what's missed. And it's like people just go for the shiny object if they see 50 to 100 grand months, and then it's like, boom, I want that. But it's like what you don't realize is what you're actually going to have to invest to get to that milestone of 100 grand or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like that's the only thing that sits not great with me. And like, there's a couple of other people that we've spoke about before where it's like, you can get this much per van per month. And like, there seems to be a few people like marketing that now, like certain amount of, we can make you this much per van per month or week or whatever it is. And we can do this and we can do this. And it's like, oh, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right. So when I see that stuff, I don't know.
That's extremely possible. Let's just say it was 3 grand per day per van or whatever. That's extremely possible for maybe one or two guys. Like you could do that pretty consistently if you had one or two guys. But when your company starts to grow, there's no fucking way that you can be, unless unless you have absolute animals working for you that are really good salesmen and are really good staff and are really good Sparkies as well. But it's just, I think the dream is sold that everybody can do this. And then it's a case of It is all possible. It's 100% possible, but it's only a specific few that are going to rise to the top of that cream and actually get to that goal of, 2.5 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand a day per van or whatever. Very, very possible. But it's just a case of like, are you going to get that consistent work coming in? Are you going to get those consistent good jobs that it's going to hit that on the head? Are you going to get that consistency throughout your whole business for the indefinite future kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Well, what's sort of like, what's your sort of plans moving forward with business, your podcast, everything like, and obviously your like, what's going to be your plan?
So my plan, where this all stems from me is I've had two incidents. My biggest motivations, I've had two incidents. One in 2020, my dad fell extremely ill. I had to go back during COVID, back to Ireland, which was a strange time. And it happened again last year. And I've been wanting to do this with ages. I wanted to basically move into the kind of marketing flywheel stage that I'm at now. And my biggest motivation is I want to have the flexibility that I can just pick up my laptop, jump on a plane, and go back to Ireland if I do need, or if I can. I just want to travel and work remotely. And this is something I've been super, super passionate about with probably 5 or 6 years, but I was too much of a coward to take the leap. And for anybody listening, if you're on the fence, either starting your electrical business and stuff, just jump. You're not going to know if you're going to make it. You're not going to, if you don't take that shot, you're not going to know if you're going to score. So you have to take that leap. But what I want to do is my aim and my goal, I'm very open with my members, is like within about 12 months, I want to sell my electrical business. It's churning leads at the moment. So leads are coming in and it's churning away nicely. And I aim to offload that business in about 12 months. So right now what I'm doing is it's probably a 60-40 split. So I'm doing 60 electrical and then 40 is on the marketing. But the more people that come into the mentorship, it's going to be leaning more towards that. And then exiting the electrical business is the overall game plan. I love the industry, but I like to explain to people that I go in, I do my job as an electrician, but I feel like I'm in a relationship that I don't want to be in at the moment. So I want to get away from electrical and move more towards the mentorship and just, yeah, guiding guys and implementing what I've done in my business into their business.
Yeah. Think I think anyone that hasn't, well, doesn't follow you or hasn't listened to your podcast should jump on, especially guys starting out or like anyone really. Like, it's going to help. There's things that I've taken out of it as well, which is really cool. So I think like anyone who is especially not confident in the marketing side or wants fresh ideas and things like that, or help on those things should definitely reach out to you as well. And I know like it seems to be like giving away stuff for free, obviously, is something that helps builds your, builds your rapport, I guess, with other people to know, like, you give away information for free in your podcast, and it's helping people come to you and be like, well, obviously, what you can offer people is knowledge. Yeah, I guess so. Like, if when you listen to your podcast and the things you say, and you're giving away for free, and then you also sign people up to your mentorship program as well, and it's
Yes.
completely different sort of thing.
I think the easiest way to explain it is like I give a shitload of stuff away in the podcast. Like I give a lot of detail away and stuff in the podcast, and on my emails as well. There's a lot of information in there, and the emails and the podcast and Instagram is really like the what, but inside the mentorship is the okay. I know about it, but that then inside the mentorship is the how. Like how do I put this into my business? Like that's really it's summed up in a sentence of yeah. Basically, in there, it's like let's get this shit implemented into your business.
Yeah, awesome. If people want to reach out, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Mainly Instagram. So head across to you put the link in the handle alan.collins or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, just head across to Instagram, shoot me a DM. Is probably the best way to get me. Drop the email and stuff like that, alan@tradiology.com. That's really it. Reach out.
Awesome. Oh, well, thanks heaps for the chat, mate. It was really good. I want to do another one with you because I want to go. I'm holding off because I know we could talk about it for probably an hour, but I want to talk. I want to do another pod on the Google and the shit fight that's going on at the moment. I'll touch on it quickly about Google um, taking people's Google My Business pages down due to change of addresses. But I feel like it's a whole nother episode that we can do because we can probably talk about it for ages. And I want to save it for that and do another one. But a word of warning, if you're going to change your address, maybe get a professional to do it. Was that what you'd say?
Just anything, fucking hours, your address, your business name, anything, just approach with caution.
Yeah, that's our sign off for everyone to be cautious of. But we're going to do another chat on it and go in depth on it for sure. So thanks for joining, guys, and we will catch you next time. Thanks, mate. Thanks for jumping on.
No worries. Pleasure to be here, man.